Okay, I think we're live. I don't know. I think we are. So welcome everyone. Okay, it says meeting is streaming live on Facebook. So welcome to the Best of Me interview series where I'm interviewing experts in their respective fields to come talk to us about certain topics in self-development, because we know that being the best possible version of me means that I get to attract such into my life. So for those of you that don't know me, I am Bonita. I'm a love coach, and I'm really passionate about helping strong, accomplished women to get off that dating spinning cycle, to find inner love and acceptance, and then from that place, find an amazing guy to spend the rest of your life with. And today I've invited confidence coach Graham Parish. Did I pronounce that right, Graham, or did I sort of...
It's close enough. It'll do.
Okay, will you pronounce that for me, please?
Parish.
Parish. Okay, Graham Parish. And I'm really, really excited about this topic because I know and I firmly believe that confidence is one of the key success factors in today's dating world. So, Graham, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us, how did you decide to become a confidence coach?
Oh, that would take far too long. I started working on myself because I had confidence issues myself.
Yes.
I got into doing hypnotherapy and coaching, and I found out that I really loved helping people. That's kind of the bottom line. Mm. But I've kind of drifted away from the hypnotherapy stuff now because I've worked out quite quickly that to be able to sort yourself out, to be confident, you have to feel happy in yourself. And somebody telling you what to do never works. Okay, you have to find it for yourself, and that's more a coaching job. That's more where I can only point you in the direction that you need to go. That's it. That's my job.
Yeah. And that's so true. And I see the same with my work. Either you really, really want this and you want to change what's happening in your life, or you don't. And the people that do step up and they work. And sometimes it's hard work, right? It's not necessarily easy, but it's so worth it once you've come through the other side. So tell us, is there a difference between self-worth and confidence?
Well, you can't have one without the other.
Okay.
So you can't be truly confident unless you have your own self-esteem and self-worth. It's really, really difficult. I mean, there are lots of courses you can do out there to help you become more confident, but all you're doing is following somebody else's rules, what worked for them. And that isn't necessarily going to work for you. You know, you need to find your path. You need to find your way. And the problem is, to do it on your own is really difficult because you've got to stay focused and you've got to have somebody that keeps pointing you back in the direction that you need to go. Somebody to whip you up, if you like, into being determined to do it. So yes, confidence is what you get when you feel happy with yourself. When you feel when you're not worrying about what other people think, you can be confident.
Oh, wow. And I've heard that happens when you reach your mid-40s. You stop worrying about what other people say and think.
Mid-40s went a long time ago, so I must be super confident.
Wonderful. So what aspects factor into our ability to be a confident person?
To be a confident person, you have to forget who you are.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we all have stories that we tell about ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're Bonita, you're the love coach, and you do this, and you work with strong, empowered women, and you do, and that's one story that you tell about yourself. There's another story for Bonita as well, which is as a wife. There's another one. I don't know if you've got children, as a mother, you know, as a daughter. So we have all these little stories, all these different hats that we put on. Okay, and it's the same when we meet people. If I I used to do a lot of networking meetings
Mm-hmm.
where you would go to a networking meeting and people would stand up and they would say 30 to 60 seconds, tell me about yourself. And they tell you about the person that they wanted to be
Yes.
rather than telling you the person that they were. And the people that told you who they were the ones that you were naturally drawn to, because you were seeing the real them, you know. And human beings have a bullshit radar. We can always suss out the people that are telling us something that isn't true.
That's so true. So in my line of work, we talk about being authentic, right? So being who
Yeah,
you really are. And you can only do that once you've stepped into complete self-worth, because otherwise you're always going to have that sort of radar or that wall that's
yeah,
protecting you. And you're going to sort of pretend like you're this confident person when
yeah.
there are all these stories going on in our subconscious mind. So,
Well, but before you move on, I mean, you know, your own self-worth isn't actually anything,
mm-hmm,
because there isn't any self to be worthy of, is there? If you think about it, I mean, have you ever experienced a time when you were in the flow, when you were just doing something and you were so involved in it, you didn't notice the passage of time, you didn't really notice what was going on around you, you were just so focused on what was going on,
mm.
nothing else existed. Have you ever experienced that?
Yes, often.
And when that happens, where are you? Where's your story? Your story's not running in the background, it's gone.
Yes.
You have lost all stories, and you're just doing what occurs to you to do without any thought of, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? What if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? You're just focused and you're just doing it. And you become confident in what you do when you're doing that. There's no thoughts echoing in your mind telling you that you're doing it wrong, or what's that person thinking about me, or does my hair look right, or, you know, what would they think about what I'm wearing? That's totally out of it.
So how do you get to that state where you sort of just have the story stop? Because I mean, we also do a lot of work with my clients, and we talk about the gremlin voice, and we do a lot of work around it.
Yeah.
It always seems to come back, maybe not having such a huge impact as it did before when we go on a first, a second, or third date. But how do we manage that better?
You're talking about the little voice inside.
Yes.
That little voice inside is your thoughts.
Mm.
They're just being voiced, aren't they? They're coming to life in your mind. And do you know, with that voice, it doesn't matter what you do, it's always going to be wrong.
Mm.
You do something that it tells you to do, then it'll go, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Or is that the right
Oh,
thing?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I've worked out that over the past few years, I've worked out that those thoughts just appear in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those thoughts are horrendous. I wouldn't want to voice them. I'd get locked up if I voiced them. So they're clearly not my thoughts. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, my thoughts can be extremely judgmental.
Oh,
And
yes.
yeah, and it's only my conscious mind that says, don't say that, Graham, because somebody's going to take offence at that. So I know what thoughts not to pay attention to, and other ones come through which I quite like, and I'm quite happy with those. But I know that those thoughts arise and disappear, and I have no control over them, nothing whatsoever. I can't choose which ones to get, and I can't hang on to the good ones. They just go. So I've worked out they're not my thoughts. That they're just random thoughts passing through. And I tend not to believe them now.
I love that. I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is your take? Because I know that you know, a lot of times I speak to women, and I had one the other day that said, I know I'm too much for men. Like, I'm too confident, I'm too independent. I
Yeah,
mean,
what a lovely story.
do men like dating a confident woman?
Depends who the man is, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, there's no one size fits all, is there? I mean, I've been in a long marriage and I got divorced, and it was a lovely marriage, but it ended, and I didn't know what was going to go on. And I've just met a woman now who absolutely adores me, and I have no idea why. I just cannot put my finger on what is it, you know. but it doesn't seem to matter. It's just unconditional. It's just like, and had I not gone through the divorce, I wouldn't have met this woman. I wouldn't be as happy as I am now. So, you know, I would say she's quite confident,
Mm-hmm.
and she knows her own mind, but that doesn't bother me.
I love
So, when you're talking about confident women, are they any different to any other women? When you meet someone, are you really judging whether they're confident or not, or are you judging whether you like them or not? And if that confident woman is interested in a man, she's going to respond, and she might be confident, but she'll also respond to that man, and she'll be interested in him, won't she?
Yes, I do think as well that, you know, when we show up confident, and I'm, you know, I specialize in finding and sort of keeping a relationship. So it's like the first couple of months. It's not really like the depth of a relationship 6 months or longer in. But I find when we're in that dating phase and we're still doing like that dance of attraction, if you show up not being confident, you're not sort of radiating worth, right? And you're not, if you show up all timid and sort of not knowing what your worth is, and feeling like, you know, you don't have anything to bring to the table, you're not communicating why this person should get to know you.
So you're telling a story again,
Mm.
rather than being you. I mean, isn't it more a case of when you meet somebody, you get an attraction and you like them, and during the first 6 months or so, you're just driven by hormones or whatever it is to feel good and feel that attraction. It's after that 6 months that the problems happen, when you actually discover that the person whose story that they told you isn't actually true. You've made something up to attract someone, and after 6 months, the partner sees through it.
Oh, definitely. So it needs
And it's not the person that they met. So,
yes,
you know, all the while we're telling these stories, we're not being ourselves, are we?
definitely.
If you're really attracted to somebody, then it doesn't matter what story they tell you, they're going to be attracted. And if you're both attracted to each other, happy days.
Mm.
But if you're telling a story to somebody and trying to impress them, at some point, there's going to be a crack in that story.
Definitely, definitely. And that does happen if we try and be someone that we're not. So how do you feel about, like I know for women especially, and the type of women that I work with, they're just naturally more drawn to a confident guy because they're confident themselves. And you know, when we radiate that worth and that confidence because we've gone and we've discovered it and we've done the work behind it, it's so much easier to be like that top 10% of the dating pool, because let's face it, dating is hard out there. What do you think is the difference between, like, because we know a lot of people out there dating are just giving us that story, right? Like, I'm confident, and but it's not the truth. So what's the difference between simply like faking it until you make it, or actually just really being that confident person?
Faking it's hard work, isn't it?
Mm. Mm.
Yeah. It's like telling a lie, and you
Yes,
have to keep it up, and you get deeper and deeper and deeper in.
yes.
So why would you do that? Why would you might be attracted to somebody, but they've got to be attracted to the real you.
Mm.
And like I said, you know, once all the fun part wears off,
Yes,
then that's when the relationship's going to break down, isn't it? So
definitely.
why would you fake it? Well, I mean, I can understand faking it if you're doing something in business, or you're giving a presentation and going up there and building, you know, the Tony Robbins stuff, going up there and building yourself up and being
Yes.
very, very, I can get that, because that's a short thing and it's your public persona. But if you're talking about matters of the heart,
Mm.
then we are talking, the heart knows,
Yes.
doesn't it?
And the
It
crack
does know.
show. The
And the
crack
mind
show.
can overrule it. The mind can overrule it and go, oh, no, I think this is all right. Let's keep going.
Mm.
But you're just piling on the agony, aren't you?
Tell us a little bit about how you work with clients and how you help them to step into real confidence.
So with clients, everything is, it doesn't matter what they come with. It doesn't matter what problems they've got. It doesn't matter what the issues are. It's always down to what they think is the problem. So I deal almost exclusively with their thoughts, because we everything we do is made of thought. We can't do anything without thinking about it. Okay. And the thoughts that they're having are the stories. They're telling a story about something. I've got a wonderful lady I'm working with at the moment who's been married for 30 years, and her husband is having some kind of a crisis, and she's feeling guilty, she's feeling upset, she's feeling angry. It's all those things that she's got is all to do with the way that she's thinking about her husband, the way that she's thinking about what's going on. Okay. As soon as she thinks about it differently, she's going to stop blaming herself. And she's just making it worse. You know, it's the story that's going around that's getting worse and worse and worse. It's snowballing. And it's about getting her to realize that most of the thoughts that are going through her head aren't really true. There is some mismatch between reality and her thoughts. And I've got to say that for most people, the best tool I've ever found for working with thoughts is, have you heard of Byron Katie?
No.
So there's a lady called Byron Katie in the States, and she does something called The Work. And it's a really, really good way of questioning the thoughts that you have that are causing you problems. So when you have good thoughts, you feel good. Yeah. Happy thoughts, happy me. Yeah.
Yes.
As soon as you start to feel any of the negative ones, mad, bad, sad, whatever they are, you know there's something going on with your thinking. You're telling a story about what's going on. And those are the ones that you need to question. And she has you can go onto her website and you can download all this stuff for free. Okay. And she gets you to ask 4 questions of these thoughts, and you sit and you write them down. You have to write it down because the mind won't concentrate on it. You have to write it. And she said, she asked you to think, is that thought true? Is it true? And most people go, yes, it's true, without thinking about it. But when they really think about it, the second question is, can you absolutely know for certain that it's true? So like in this lady's case, my husband doesn't love me anymore. Is that true? Yeah, of course it is, because of the way he's treating me. Can you absolutely know for certain that he doesn't love you? Well, no, not really, because I'm not inside his head. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Only he knows what's true. And then she says, how do you react when you believe that thought that he doesn't love you? And it makes you feel mad, bad, jealous, angry, sad, bitter, twisted, whatever. And you have all those emotions coming out. You start to see how that thought is starting to make the problem even worse than it was. And then you go, who would you be without that thought? And without that thought, it would just be him acting the way he's acting. It wouldn't make you feel any particular way. You would just be, okay, what's wrong with him? And as soon as you diffuse that and you take the emotion out of your thoughts, it diffuses the emotion with your other half. Does that? It's very, very quick.
That sounds like an amazing tool. I'll definitely look that up. So
it's thework.com.
Work.com. Sounds
thework.com, and it's all up there for free. You can just download all the worksheets, all the instructions, and it's a brilliant place to start with unpacking negativity, unpacking anxiety about yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just purely working with your thoughts. And the beauty of it is there isn't me telling you what to think. There isn't a friend of yours telling you what to think. It's you examining your own thoughts and going, do you know what? That might just be a load of rubbish. And it just gets you to, it just gets you to second guess those thoughts. And after a while, you don't even need to write it down. You just go, is that true? No, probably not. And you move on. So
it's an amazing tool.
I massively recommend that if you want to sit at home and sort your head out.
Yes, definitely. So what we do with Veronica, who's the psychotherapist in my program, is we follow feelings. So when we have a bad feeling, then we follow that and we trace that to a belief, and then we release that. So I think that's, there's so many tools out there, and there's never one way to sort of do it. And I just love learning about these new tools. Tell me, how do you suggest, as for single people, how do you suggest that they cope with this crisis, right? Now, let's say you're a single person and perhaps you've lost job stability. you know, sometimes we source that confidence from our work. um, so how do you suggest people deal with that when they've lost their source of fake confidence?
Right. So there's three parts to this answer, if you want all three parts.
Yes, please.
Part one is right this moment where I am right now, this very, very second, am I okay? Seem to be. You know, I'm not under attack. I'm not dying. At the moment, I'm alive. I'm well. What's to worry about? So that's the first thing, is to get a perspective on it.
Okay.
You know,
makes sense.
The second one is to realize that the Buddhists have a great thing. They call it impermanence. Have you heard of that?
No, I'm learning a lot today. I love this.
So impermanence, according to the Buddhists, and this is my translation of it, so please don't email me and say you got it all wrong, but this is the way I see it, is impermanence means nothing ever stays the same. So things are always changing. So even like a mountain changes, okay? It won't stay the same mountain forever. A road, or it get bigger or it gets smaller. It's just a question of time that the change happens over. So it doesn't matter what your circumstances are now, they are going to change. They've changed from being good to being where you are now. And it's a case of sitting back and saying, I'm all right at the moment. What occurs to me to do now until that changes again? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's a case of not panicking and just waiting it out and seeing what turns up, because we never know what's going to turn up. We absolutely don't know what's around the corner. We can try and predict it, but we don't know. The job that you've lost, or the person that you've lost, may be the best thing in the world that's gone for you, because you make a new job that's even better, or you meet a person that's even better. So those circumstances that you're labeling as being bad may turn out to be really good in hindsight. You think, oh, wow, I'm glad I lost that job. Look at the one I've got now. Wow, I'm glad I got rid of him. Look at the man I've got now. You don't know that's going to happen.
So it really is about perspective, right? And stepping away from the emotions and the thoughts.
Yeah. Well, the third part is the thoughts. So go onto the work.com, download the sheet, and work through that thought. Because you don't, is it true that your life's changed and it's terrible? Probably not. It's changed, but is it terrible? How do you feel when you think that it's terrible? You feel bad. Who would you be without the thoughts that it's terrible? Well, I'd just be sitting back enjoying my time off and my freedom till something better comes along. So it's always our thoughts that screw up our life. And as soon as you get a negative one, that's really, it's like a traffic light system for me. When everything's okay, it's on green.
Yes.
Whenever things are starting to get dodgy, it's on amber, and I know I need to stop soon and work something out. If it's on red, I definitely need to stop doing what I'm doing and take stock of things. But my traffic lights, no traffic lights stay stuck on one colour forever.
Yes.
They're always changing. And they can go from one colour to the other really quickly.
They can, and that's such brilliant advice. I'm looking forward to downloading that tool and using it and introducing it to my clients. So thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Graham, tell us how people can get in touch with you if they want to work with you, and also about your free gift today.
I believe I uploaded a link to some material that I wrote a little while ago, actually. It's not current stuff, but you've obviously provided the link. Just click on the link and you can freely download this help sheet for, I think it's 10 questions to become better, to improve your self-esteem. If you want to get hold of me, you can get hold of me through my website, which is really easy. It's just grahamparish.com. I've got to say, most of my clients find me. I don't normally put myself out there. I'm very much know that the people that I need to work with will find me.
Perfect. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for your time and your value and all the tips that you've provided us with. We really appreciate you. And,
thank you.
Thank you for your take on dating a confident woman.
It's been great. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Graham. Bye-bye.
Okay. Cheers. Bye-bye now.